Good evening, Hari Om. A very warm welcome to all of you. Please come. Let's pray together. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya. Sahana vavatu sahano bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. O Lord, the Almighty, Asankhyeya Aprameyatma, the Lord who was these divine names to such a magnificent Lord, together with Shraddha, Bhakti and Prapatti, we offer our humble salutations. We seek your grace, your mercy, your love, your compassion, your kindness, your strength, your forgiveness. O Lord, we beseech in you to grant us the divine qualities of Shraddha, Bhakti, Dhyana, Vairagya, only and only to understand thy true nature with aparoksha anubhuti, the first-hand experience. We beseech in you that at the end of our lives we reach thy holy feet. Om Tat Sat. By the blessings of the Almighty and by the grace of the Guru Parampara, Today we are on our Divine Discourse number 288, the 28th of June 2022. Shubhakrit Nama Samvatsar, Uttarayan, Grishma Rutu, Jyeshta Mas, Krishna Paksh, Amavasya, Mrugashira Nakshatra, Ganda Yog, Chatushpada Karane. On this auspicious day of Tuesday and the auspicious time of the evening, Naham Karta Hari Karta, Hari Preranaya, Hari Prityartham. We all take a firm resolve in our minds that whatever is happening in our lives, every incident, every circumstance, every situation, every happening, every event, all this is only and only at the behest of the Almighty. It is His game which He has designed to lift our souls from this ocean of birth and death. We firmly believe in His decision, and we accept each and everything that comes in our lives as nothing but a prasad from the Almighty. Om Tat Sat. Our humble salutations to the Guru Parampara. Good evening, everybody. A very warm welcome to all of you once again. So today I can say we are on another landmark episode. And why do I say that? Lord Krishna, for the third time in the Gita, He mentions that Prakruti is the doer. Emphatically He says, Prakriti and Prakriti alone is the doer, which means you are not the doer. See, now we should always not forget our goal, our aim or our mission. Where are we wanting to go? Our sole mission and aim of this entire spiritual journey is you want to get released from the bondage of samsara, which is birth and death. In other words, liberation, moksha, kaivalya. Now, if you want to achieve this, let's understand what has brought us into this. What made us get trapped into this? If you carefully analyze and see, why do we get a birth? Because we as a jiva, we have to experience our joy and sorrow in life. Why does one get a joy and sorrow in life? Because the jiva has, to its credit, pap and punya. Good deeds and bad deeds. The result of good deed is punya, result of bad deed is papa. Punya gives us joy, papa gives us sorrow. Okay. Now first came the life, then came the joy and sorrow. The result of the joy and sorrow is because of the papa and punya. And how did the papa and punya come in our life? By doing good actions and bad actions. Now here is the catch. Lord Krishna is emphatically saying, you are not the doer. Which means who is doing it? He says the Prakriti is doing. I have created the whole universe I have created all the living and non-living beings in the universe, and the Prakruti is what is actually doing everything. But by Maya, this Jiva Bhava, we, so-called we are in the Jiva Bhava. We have got stuck and we think we are doing this action. So the Lord says, fine. If despite me telling you, if you think you are doing, He has been so merciful. He says, okay, take the credit and debit of what all your actions are. This is the simple formula of how the life is evolving. That's all. There is no other reason why we see this kind of a birth, death, again rebirth, again death. This is the reason. Now for souls who are evolving, He gives another chance. He tells, now listen again, I'm telling you, understand. You just understand this and you start doing actions not as the doer, but as the witness of the doer. Accept it that I am not the doer. Whatever is happening in you and whatever is happening in the others around you, you witness it as the Prakriti with its three gunas is operating in this entire world. Then what happens? Now let's go the reverse way. When you are not the doer, there is no good action, there is no bad action. When there is no good action, there is no bad action. There is no papa, there is no punya. When there is no papa, there is no punya, there is no birth again. If there is no birth again, there is no death again. This is the formula. Now, okay, now we got to know what to do, how to do. See, this is where we get stuck everywhere. Everything we know how to do is how to do, where to go, how to go, all that we know. But the exact method of getting into doing that act, that is extremely important. So now today, in the 19th verse, which we had studied a bit earlier in the previous class, we will now take it in detail. During the last class, we just started off summarizing a bit. So now we go into in detail. This is an extremely important verse. So, like as you have red flags here and there, where do you have a red flag? When there is a diversion. You have a indication there that something which is prominent to tell you, be careful over here, you may get lost. So, in the same way now, this is a very important dimension what we have got, a diversion. So, we'll understand this carefully and move forward. Now, in the previous verses, what we learned was that based on your sattva, rajas and tamas gun, you will be getting the worlds like higher worlds, middle worlds and lower worlds. We got to understand this. Another metaphor if I have to give you, if your house has got a higher floor, naturally if there is a higher floor there has to be a staircase. So staircase, normally as you see, you take 10 steps, then there is an island there where you take a turn and you take another 10 steps. That's how a staircase is normally built. So the metaphor here is the jivas who are in the tamas mode, they are at the lower steps, who are in the mode of a species of insects, worms and lower category lives. And those who are in the rajas mode, they are in the middle, meaning they are in that square platform where they are neither down nor they are up. They are in that middle situation where they are again born in a condition where there is a lot of rajas activity, and it can be the higher levels of the higher levels of animals or the lower category of human. And those who are in sattva, they are on the higher steps, you can say, who have a very good superior human life, who have the right company to further acclaim knowledge and move higher in life, or they can even be in the higher planes, higher worlds. But what the Lord says is, remember, even if you are in the mode of sattva, you are still on the staircase. You have not reached the corridor and you have not reached the luxurious rooms or the suites or the halls. You are still on the staircase. So be it sattva, rajas or tamas, you are still under bondage. So this we have to understand. Being in sattva, I am a good person, I have a good life, I have got everything, I am always peaceful, because that is the quality of sattva. Lord says, don't be stuck over here. This is exactly what He's trying to. He's trying to bail us out from here. Now, let's move forward. I think let's read the shloka once. I'll share the shloka. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Nanyam Gunebhya Kartaram Yada Drishtanupashyati Gunebhyascha Param Vetti Madbhavam Sodigacchati. So here he basically is trying to impress upon us Nanyam Gunebhya Kartaram Yada Drishtanupashyati. Now that drashta means the seer. That is what is now he trying to impress upon us. He says, he stresses on this point to become the drashta, meaning one who sees, meaning seer. One who cannot see what others, one who can see, what others cannot see. See, there are so many situations where you are able to see something. There are others also who are along with you, they are not able to see it. So if one sees what everyone else sees, then he is not a drashta. Like for example in the Bhagavad Gita itself, if you can see a greater meaning than what is told or what is written, then you are the drashta of the Gita. As simple as that. Because you are able to find a deeper meaning to what is being told, understood, read so far. So that is true seeing, what they say. If one gets the deeper meaning of the Atma Jnana, then he becomes the real seer. So in our spiritual study, we should always aim for becoming a drashta. Whatever is told has to be kept in our mind, properly churned, and eventually you try to get some other angle, some other component to what has been told to a much deeper and higher level. So here Lord Krishna tells us, he compels us rather. He says, become a drashta. See the deeper meaning over here. Even like, not only now, I am not talking of even the teaching part, the listening part, even the teaching part also he says, if one is able to just read the Gita with the meaning, he is not a drashta. Such a person will be just called as an interpreter. I have read something and I say whatever I have read. He is not a drashta. As he says in the 4th chapter, 34th verse, Jnanina Tattvadarshibhihi. And even in the Mundakopanishad also it is said on similar line, Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam, meaning God realized. A true guru or a true jnani is one who is a drashta. So much of importance has been given. So seeker's aim is to reach the status of a drashta. So now we want to cross over. Now I'm going to talk of the steps, how do we achieve this and what we need to do to become a drashta. So once a person, a sadhak, makes a firm resolve, taking the advice of Lord Krishna to become a drashta, his first and foremost thing is his senses have to be focused on the Supreme. In such a case, what happens? This sattva guna will support the senses to see only the deep aspects of the Supreme or the Atma Jnana. That's why one says, to understand Atma Jnana, one should always be in the sattva mode for the maximum period of time. Because the more you are in the sattva mode, the more are the chances of you getting related or acclimatized or in union with the Supreme. So that's the reason, if you see, one of the biggest sadhana what we always talk is, keep doing your jap, keep doing your dhyan, because it keeps you in that sattva mode. Sattva mode is where the divine knowledge or the divine light can enter. Like if you have put all your curtains on, how will the sunlight enter your house? For that you need to open the curtains. You will get sunlight. If you open the windows, you will get fresh air. So this way, our mind has to be in that state where you have to be in the sattva guna. And that's the reason the scriptures talk of this vairagya, mano nigraha, hridaya nigraha, vasana akshaya. All these are important to keep us in the sattva states. So all the above states can only grant you sattva guna. And in that sattva guna, the mind and senses will be able to see or become a drashta. Then you are a drashtanupashyati. Such a drashta will see the truth. His eyes will not see anything else. Now, anything happens in us or others, it is happening only due to the influence of the gunas. Now we are slowly coming to the point. How to become a drashta. Anything which happens in us or to others is happening because of the influence of the gunas. Which means what Lord Krishna is saying, it is the Prakruti is the doer. How does Prakruti do? In the form of gunas. Which are the three gunas? Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Now, let's say somebody behaves with you in a very rude manner. It could be anybody. Somebody in the family, in your circle, in your friends, relatives, in your office, place of work, wherever it is. Now, one should not get angry. Immediately, now we have learned something. What you should say? Oh, this person is in tamogun now. Immediately catch that nature of that person. He is now in tamogun. Not like an ordinary person who reacts to that particular state of anger and gives him one back. No. Just realize he is in tamogun. Same way, if one is kind, you immediately understand that that person is in rajogun. So when you deal in the world, only see the gunas operating in everybody and not see the person and label him. Normally what we do, we label him. He is a crackpot, he is an idiot. See how he spoke. That's what we normally do, right? This is, you be a different, You should see what others do not see. Then only you are a true drashta. These are all the principles which we just now understood. You become a true seer when you see something what others are not seeing. Now when somebody spoke rubbish, when somebody became rude, when somebody misbehaved, what everybody else saw? That he was rude, he misbehaved, and everybody started giving him names. Okay, now what you saw? You saw that the tamas guna in that person is at its peak, and that is what is making this person behave like this. Subtle difference. We say, I just can't tolerate this person. That is our feeling now, emotion. Which means what? Even if such kind of thoughts come in you, you should not think that I am getting irritated. Tamo guna in me is getting activated. See, you are a drashta there again. If you say I am getting irritated, then you are in the jiva bhava. If you say the tamogun in this body and mind is getting activated, you are a drashta of that emotion which is coming in you. You understood? Subtle difference. This is the trick of understanding how to become a drashta. We say, I just can't live without you. Meaning, this is an emotion of love. Sattvagun is active in you now. Now don't say that, see, I can't live without you, meaning don't relate to that, to your own feeling as being bonded in the jiva bhava. Realize now this sattva guna in me has become active. Be above the type of emotions, feelings, be it hatred or be it love. Even if it is for the other person or even if it is for you, you be a clear drashta to whatever is happening. Apply the same principle. Never say or even think that I did this. You have to only observe and notice that who is doing. Now let's say I did a good act. I worked hard, okay? Then don't say that I worked hard. The rajas today in me was active and it did this job. So who did? Guna did. What is Lord Krishna saying? That the Prakruti is doing. When we say Prakruti is doing, meaning Prakruti through the three gunas is doing all this. You are exactly in line with what Lord Krishna is saying. And when you are feeling very tired, you are feeling lazy, you are feeling off mood, don't say I am lazy, I don't have mood today. The tamas in me is active today. You are behaving very well, you are helping others. Say that the sattva in me is active today. Whatever be the state, spontaneously now these are coming, these emotions, these feelings, these thoughts, they keep coming in your mind. You have to just focus not as you as the doer, but the gunas as the doer. Once you start focusing, you will be able to action, you will be able to understand and say which guna is now prominent and active in me and which is operating more in me. If we are able to get to this extent, see, this is just a practice. You got the technique, you have to start practicing. Once you start practicing on your own self and with others, half the game is over. You are done. Because now only what is left is it has to strengthen, that's all. What exactly Lord Krishna is telling you, which he says will make you cross over the samsara. Now, he cannot be partial to somebody and impartial to somebody, isn't it? So, he has very clearly said, this is the knowledge which I am giving everybody. Those of you who are fortunate will stick on to this. Those of you who are not so fortunate will be little here, little there in the world and on the path of spirituality towards reaching me. Now it is up to each one of you how much effort you put in and you cross over and come. So once we start getting this, then slowly we may be in the lower gunas, maybe we are in the rajas most of the time. You start slowly moving from rajas to sattva. Here and there again in certain times of if our day and night you are in tamas, then again you start slowly moving from tamas to rajas and from rajas to sattva. So this way one has to start transcending to the higher level, which is the sattva, and then thereafter you have to move to the shuddha sattva. So the moment a jiva attributes all actions within and outside, which is being done by the trigunas, the evolution of the jiva starts. And Lord Krishna says, now I know you are on the right track. Then the grip of the Maya starts loosening. Like the gravitational force of the planet Earth is up to a particular level in the sky. As you cross that level, then you are out of the grip of the gravity of the earth. In the same way, he says Maya also, it holds you till a time. It feels that yes, otherwise everybody is under the grip of Maya. But those who are on the right track and who start observing on the lines of what Lord Krishna is saying, just simple thing, again I repeat, whatever action you are doing or others are doing, don't look at the person and label what he did, but rather look at the gun which was active in him and say that Prakruti is now active in this person or in me as so and so good. That's all. Label it to the Prakriti, not to yourself or to the other person. So this is this great secret which Lord Sri Krishna is sharing over here as a sure path towards moksha. Now if you're moving on further on this path, as one is seeing the gunas in action and at play, a very subtle point should also come into our mind. What is that? Another important next level point. Where do the gunas come from? Let's ask a simple question. The gunas come from Prakriti, and from where has Prakriti come? From Maya. And where has Maya come? Is it an independent Shakti or a force? Maya has come from Chaitanya Shakti. So one has to constantly remember that these three gunas are operating in the realm of consciousness. See how we are slowly moving and getting connected to the consciousness. Our final aim is to reach consciousness, that is the Supreme Almighty. Even when you are being in the world, you are constantly connected with consciousness. Now, like the gunas are like the electrical components, and consciousness is like electricity. So when you are looking at the electrical components which are in action, which are in play, you also notice that all these are functioning only and only due to the electricity behind it. If there is no electricity, everything will go off. Like now, your mobile, the fan or the AC in your room, everything is functioning only because there is electricity. There is power in it. So know and recognize that without which even the components will not function. So A tube light will emit light only because of electricity. A fan will give breeze only because of electricity. A fridge will keep things cold and fresh only because of electricity behind it. A water heater gives hot water only because of electricity. So once we understand that behind all these components, there is all these gadgets, there is electricity, and because of that electricity, all these are working, you have completed a complete circle. Starting from where? From the gadget to the source of power, which is Chaitanya Shakti. Now, how do you apply here with respect to what we are learning? From the action, be it of your own action or an individual, what do you see now? You are not looking at the individual. You are not labeling or saying he is good, he is bad, he is hopeless, he is worthless, he is a gentleman. You are not doing anything. You are just looking at the action. Behind the action, the guna. Behind the guna, you see the Prakruti, and behind Prakruti, you see Maya, and behind Maya, you connect yourself to consciousness. Now, where did you reach? Everything what you see, you are reaching consciousness, which means you are all the time connected with the Supreme Almighty. This is an extremely important aspect what we need to understand. Reason is this drishtanupashyati. I'll give another metaphor. Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda used to say, now when you are traveling in a train, you are on a train. So the movement of the train is also your own movement, correct? You may be saying that I am still, I am standing still, or I am sitting still, or I am sleeping in the train, but don't forget that the movement of the train is also your movement, although you think that you are not moving. Understand this carefully. As far as we are in this jiva bhava, that, I am doing, it is like you are on the train. Simple. As far as you think you are doing, you are on the train. So the speed of the train, the derailment of the train, the stoppage of the train, everything is to your account. You are going to be influenced by that. So, what one has to do, meaning, if you really want to be outside the three gunas, if you want to be outside the train, you don't want the momentum of the train or the stopping or the starting or the derailment of the train to affect you, what you should do? You should come out of the train and stand on the platform. Then only you can see the train being outside the train. So to stand apart from the jiva bhava, one has to come outside the purview of their mind. This is what Lord Krishna is telling us over here. You have to come out of the identifications and from all our thought entanglements. Now if you can clearly relate, now we are telling from where you have to go out. So first you should know where you are and how to go out. Whether you are in or out, how do you know? As far as you are in your thoughts, as far as you are in your identification with the body, with the concerned, you are in your identification. He says, get out of the train, get out. To get out, as it is said, the disengagement of ourself from our own thought process, that is true meditation. Now you are in your thought process and you are saying, I am doing this, I am doing that, I want to achieve this. You are on the train. You are using the body, mind, which is the train, you as a traveler, now whatever happens, it is happening because you are claiming that I am doing it. So a meditator who is capable of beholding that experience subjectively, now I'm speaking a little technical, subjectively means now you are seeing your mobile. The mobile is an object and you are the subject. As far as you are in the train, you are also an object. Along with the train, you are not the subject anymore. So they say you come out of that. And remember, God is not an object. God cannot be seen. He is neither available to our perception or our feeling or our thought. He is the subject that perceives through us, that feels in us, and that thinks with us. It sounds a little heavy, I understand. I'll give you another example. Now, what is this personal experience what we are talking about? Just an idea of that. Now the personal experience what Lord Krishna is trying to tell us over here is, look at everything what you are seeing here as different from you. First and foremost, that's the simple thing. Look at everything which is different from you. Now we have got mixed up, isn't it? So only thing what we need to do here is, we need to get out of that mix-up situation which we are all currently in. That is what we need to understand. Let's take the help of what Maharshi Vishwamitra or Maharshi Vashishta was telling Sri Ram in the Ramayana. Gav gochar jahan lagi, man jai so sab maya jan ho bahi. Meaning, drop your mind and you are right there. Meaning, this, wherever your mind and your senses go, you are in the world of Maya. So as far as you are in the world of Maya, you are in that Prakriti again. So, if you want to get out of this, meaning you have to get out of the train. Maya is what? The train. As far as your mind is on these senses, the senses are on the world objects. You are in the world of Maya. So what one needs to do is, one needs to drop the mind. Very important. Now in meditation, what you have to constantly try to achieve is, now we all are doing Mahamrityunjaya Japa. We are also doing various other stotra, stuti, whatever we have been doing since long. During that time, since you have that by heart, it is subconscious, you all just focus on the awareness within you. That goes on automatically. The Prakriti is doing, forget it. You only focus on that awareness, that Chaitanya Shakti which is within you. So what has happened over here? You have dropped your mind. The moment you have dropped your mind, you are in the state of consciousness. There you become a drashta. There you become a subject. There you become a seer. That personal experience is required. Like, say for example, you have small children who attend school, a nursery school, let's say, in a city. Now the child, right from the time it's born, it's always in city. It has never gone to a village. Now during the class, they tell the child, this is a cow. They show the picture of a cow and say, this is a cow. It eats grass and it gives milk. Now the child has registered this. Then after a while, the teacher asked the child. Now this is a city child, okay? It has registered in its mind a cow. It has got 4 legs. It has got a tail. It has got 2 horns. It eats grass and it gives us milk. Now another teacher comes and asks this child, what does a cow eat? Green grass. What does it give? Milk. Now the teacher tells the child, a white cow gives white milk, which means a brown cow should give brown milk. Now the child is confused. He doesn't know. But then there is a child who has come from village. Now the child being in village, they themselves had a goshala in their home. They had about 2-3 cows. So now that village child is laughing. He's saying, what a stupid question, and this child is getting disturbed. It's not able to answer because the child does not have practical experience. He got confused because it has learnt. It eats green grass, it gives us milk. Now, whether a white cow gives white milk, a black cow gives black milk, and a brown cow gives brown milk, now that it has not seen or heard or studied. But a village child, being in that atmosphere, in the goshala, it has seen how a cow grazes, different colors of cow, they all give white milk. So when we are doing the same study here, unless and until we go to the depth. See, here we have studied something, we have heard something, just like that child heard and studied. We have registered only certain things. Our knowledge will be limited to that. Now we have to go to that experience as that village child who has experienced being in the goshala. So for that we need to really not only read and study, but get that practical experience of understanding that consciousness. Sit for meditation with the same thoughts and try to understand. I want to now completely be devoid of thoughts. Now we are already started doing that practice since long. Drishanupashyati. Drishanupashyati means where we are observing our thoughts, which means we are seeing the train pass. We are not inside the train. We are on the platform. We are seeing the train pass, which means we are seeing the mind, and in the mind we are seeing the thoughts. We are seeing the train, and in the train, the train is the mind and the thoughts are the passengers. We are seeing the passengers in the train. So you are doing it as a witness. So in the same way, the more and more deeper you start doing these exercises, then you get a grip. Your brain will help you to get mastery over such things. As soon as you get a grip of this knowledge, then you can slowly will start rising. Without your knowledge or understanding, you will start strengthening your knowledge. So my point of telling you all in detail, with more focus on this, is one needs to have the practice. Just don't listen, read, but get that subjective experience, to get that first-hand aparokshanubhuti. Aparokshanubhuti is that experience, first-hand experience. Once you have the first-hand experience of any situation, like say you have met a person, and you have spoken to him, you have been with him or her for some time, and then if somebody asks more questions about that person, you can very easily describe. But if you have read about that person, you have heard about that person, you are restricted to only what you have read and what you have heard. So you have to start experiencing going without thoughts. The moment you have mellowed down your senses, you have completely dropped your mind, then you can only and only see that experience of that pure consciousness. That is what we do in the final stage, where we talk of nirvikalpa samadhi. Nirvikalpa, kalpa means thoughts. Nirvikalpa means without thoughts, where we are completely in the state of consciousness. So now you're getting an understanding. We started this exercise almost 5-6 months before. Keeping this, we started. So we all have that enough of understanding. I have seen many, what they do, they listen, and when the meditation comes, they say, now our job is over, they go away. They don't meditate. I'm saying this more from their point of view. When you have listened, now you need to get the experience of that. Go to the next step and get that practical experience of how I can become a drashta. Lord Krishna is saying this. Become a drashta. Then only you will reach me. Otherwise you will not be able to reach me. This is what, by His grace, what He is telling, we are trying to understand and go forward. He says in the third chapter, 27th verse, Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashaha ahankara vimudatma kartaramiti manyate. He started from the Karma Yoga chapter. He said, all actions are performed by Prakriti through the gunas. And he says, Mudha, ahankara vimudhatma. He says, Mudha, the fool whose mind is clouded with ego. Ego is that I am the doer. That person, his mind who is clouded with ego, he thinks I am the doer. And as I related, the moment you become the doer, you become the owner of your good and bad, which comes in form of punya and papa, and punya and papa come as sukha and dukkha, and the balance carryover of whatever you have to take another birth. So that eventually you are in the cycle of birth and death. So here he warned us, in the very Karma Yoga he says, never attribute anything that you are doing. And then in the 13th verse, Prakritaiva cha karmani kriyamanani sarvashaha yah pashyati tadatmanam akartaram sapashyati. He says all actions are performed in every manner, in every way, only and only by Prakriti. And remember that you as the self are the non-doer. One who sees this, he only sees. He is the real drashta. You got it? See how again and again this same. Now here in this 14th chapter, he again comes back and he helps us in trying to tell us, don't become the karta, become the drashta. So this is extremely deep. Now certain things, these are very subtle points. We need to go slow, we need to understand, and we need to get the true hang of everything here. There's no point in just rushing. So now we understood, even looking beyond the gunas and the Prakriti, who is behind, which is Maya, and behind Maya is Chaitanya Shakti. So now, let's understand Kartaram. What is Karta? So where there is Kriti, Kriti means action. So there he is a Karta, Kartru, the doer. Because there is action over there. So where there is only action but no desire or intention, it does not become a Kriti. He does not become a Karta. That is what exactly we have to become over here. You are not doing with any intention, you are only seeing your own actions, that now this particular guna is active in me, tamas is active, rajas is active, sattva is active, and you are not doing with any intention. Although you are doing an act, you are still not the karta. So if you are not a karta, there is no karma phala. If there is no karma phala, there is no papa, there is no punya. If there is no papa and no punya, there is no rebirth. So as a sadhak, what we have done here is, we have surrendered the action to the sattva, rajas and tamas, the three gunas. And we have identified ourselves that the three gunas are governed by the Chaitanya Shakti, the Param Shakti. Aham karoti iti ahankara. I am doing, that is the aham bhava, the ahankara. So the complete cessation of this aham bhava is happening in us. You as a jiva, for every action done is like writing an address. I have done an action. So I have written an address. So naturally, if you write an address and post it, it will go to the address where you have posted. So when you do an action without an intention or a desire in mind, knowing very well that only the Prakriti and the Gunas are doing, it is like you are posting a letter with the address of Param. Param means the Paramatma. You have done the action. You know Chaitanya Shakti is behind this. So whatever letters actions you have done with this particular thought in mind, all that will reach the Parandhama, the Paramatma. So Naham Karta Hari Karta, when we say this, we have done nothing on our own. So the best methods, what we have been practicing, morning, afternoon, evening, night, just keep saying this Naham Karta Hari Karta. By Ajnana or by Mudatva, we are carried away now and then. So you surrender. Oh Lord, Naham Karta Hari Karta. I want to say this every moment, but I cannot. But it's enough. You give me the zeal to tell, the mind to tell about this again and again. This is what Lord Krishna is trying to tell us. We have to understand this part. So, doing without that kartrutva and knowing that the three gunas alone are doing everything in me, in the presence of the Paramatma Tattva, that is the right way of doing action, and doing actions in this right way will keep you out of the gambit of birth and death. Such a jiva who is always in the thought of that Param not only reaches him, but stays with him. With whom? The Param, the Paramatma. And the Lord says he eventually becomes me. So where is the question of rebirth? There is no question of rebirth. One who does not understand the role of Prakriti, Gunas and Paramatma, or he says Narapashu. Narapashu means humans in the disguise of animals. They are animals actually, but they appear like humans. That's all. There is no difference between an animal and a human. This was one chance. A sadhana sharira, this human life has been given to realize. And you did not make use of it to come out of this bondage. So, from dharma, artha, kama, which represent, dharma represents sattva, artha represents rajas, kama represents tamas. After dharma, artha, kama comes what? Moksha. In the same way, after sattva, rajas and tamas comes moksha. This is the route, this is the way, this is the formula, this is the method. We have to just practice. Even to practice also, seek the grace of God. While practicing, seek the grace of God. And you are done. Don't think I am doing. Then again that I is coming there. This jiva. Distance yourself every moment. You are out of the train, you are on the platform, not in the train. Look at yourself as you look at others. These are those fine secrets and understanding which we need to cultivate and move forward in life. And you are sorted if we do this. Nanyam gunebhya kartaram yada drishtan pashyati gunebhyascha param veti madbhavam sodhi gacchati. madbhavam so adhigacchati, meaning he becomes me. Now Lord Krishna in the next verse, he explains more about this. First you cross over, and what you will become I'll tell you in the next verse, he says. And after that, the 21st verse, Arjuna asks him a question, and then he answers Arjuna's question for the rest of this chapter, which is up to verse 27. Okay. So, crossing over the three gunas is one of the greatest techniques of reaching moksha. That is what we need to achieve in life. Okay. Just a sec. There's a question from A. Sridhar. As we start practice or start seeing that gunas are doing everything in us and others, it becomes easy to remove the hatred, eventually forgive and forget the person who we used to hate. Excellent. Right understanding. So this helps us in our daily life. Because what hatred or what love you have against for somebody, it is the gunas who are doing in him or her, and the gunas are doing in me. It's not that we as humans we are not labeling anybody, no. When you are associated with you as a person and you are associated with X, Y, Z as a person, then you are stuck there, actually over there. So don't be in the mode of association. Be in the mode of purely watching that it is the gunas, the Prakriti, the Maya only operating over here with the help of the Chaitanya Shakti. So Sridhar, good observation. This is what we need to catch. This was again, you see, he has understood the deeper meaning. I did not mention this, but this is the right understanding which one had. So I would rather promote or request all of you that you all can express on these lines, so that what you all are thinking is your line of thinking in the right direction or not, you should know, isn't it? So most welcome, you all always can share your thoughts on these lines, so that if you ask like as he asked and others are benefited, in the same way if you ask, it may not only help you, but it will help others as well. Okay. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. So, next class we take verse 20. Now, we do the Vishnu Sahasranama. We go to the next verse, 27. So let's read the verse. Verse 27. Asankheyo prameyatma vishishta shishta krutyutihi siddhartha siddhi sankalpaha siddhida siddhi sadhanaha. Asankheya. Sankhya means number. Asankhya means numberless. Asankhya is one who has numberless names and forms. The infinite variety of things and beings that constitute the manifested universe are all his own form, and hence he is indeed numberless, whom he expresses himself as the universe. In the 11th chapter of the Gita, we see through Arjuna's eyes the cosmic form of the Lord, of boundless forms on every side, with numberless arms, stomachs, mouths, eyes, ears. There is neither an end, nor middle, nor beginning. Do I see, O Lord of the universe? Arjuna says this. Aneka bahudara Vaktranetram pashyami tvam sarvato anantarupam. He says in the 16th verse of the 11th chapter. What is this I am seeing, O Lord? I don't see an end. I see your arms, endless arms I am seeing. I see your faces, endless faces I am seeing. Your legs, endless. Everything is endless. So, asankhyeya means it is numberless, beyond our count. Then 248, aprameya atma. Prameya means pramana vishaya. Anything that can be known through any of the sources of knowledge, direct or indirect. So Atman, the self, cannot be apprehended by the intellect through any of the known sources of knowledge, which is called as pramana. So he is called aprameya because you cannot know him through any sources of knowledge. So one who has this nature is the self, aprameya atma, none other than Sri Narayana. So now what we just now learned, how to experience that Paramatma, who is none other than the Chaitanya Shakti in us, is drop your mind. As far as you are in your mind, or the senses, or the objects of senses in the world, you are in Maya. So just drop your mind. There are no thoughts. You are not aware of your senses. You are not aware of the objects of senses naturally. So what do you see at that point of time? You see that awareness within you. Expand the awareness beyond your body. Awareness is not in you. Consciousness is not in you, but you are in that consciousness. Understand this. Once you get the feeling of understanding that you are in that consciousness, grace, mercy, and blessings. Come, let's now chant the Dhanavantri Mantra 3 times. And then we'll go to the Sakshatkara Siddhi Yoga Dhyana with Pulse of Wisdom. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrutakalashahastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokya Nidhaye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri Aushadha Chakra Narayanaya Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrutakalashahastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokya Nidhaye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri Aushadha Chakra Narayanaya Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrutakalashahastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokya Nidhaye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri Aushadha Chakra Narayanaya Swaha. To the Lord of Dhanvantari, who is none other than Lord Vishnu, we seek His grace and blessings for a healthy life, to be on the path of spirituality, and to realize ourselves. Om Tat Sat. Now let's do the Sakshatkara Siddhi Yoga Dhyana. Please make yourself comfortable wherever you are seated. If any part of your body is uncomfortable, make it comfortable. And get complete cooperation of your body for the next 10-12 minutes. Head, neck and spine in a straight line. Completely relax your forehead, your eyes, your face, your chin and neck, your shoulders, shoulder and arms, your entire body. Let's take a few deep breaths. Inhale and exhale as deep as you can, 3 times. Now let's start the first level, Antarika. Antarika means internal. Trishanuvit, Savikalpa Samadhi. By seeing internally the thoughts that cross your mind, being in the state of a witness, a drashta. You are not the mind, you are not the body, but you are the seer of this body and mind. Observe the thoughts in this mind without being judgmental. Allow the thoughts to move on. Thereby, you will see a gradual reduction in the number of thoughts and eventually no thoughts. As a witness of the thoughts, feel the Chaitanya Shakti all around. We slowly move to the next level, Antarika, Shabdanuvit Savikalpa Samadhi. So so keep repeating this mantra in your mind. Feel the oneness with the Chaitanya Shakti. Now in this deep state, we listen to the pearls of wisdom for self-realization. Let these thoughts go deep in your mind. Experience the meaning of the thoughts. Become one with the thoughts.
Shri Gurubhyo Namah. All the movable and immovable you see in existence is by the union of Kshetra and Kshetrajna. Know that the Paramatma accompanies the Atma, which is present in all beings, and understand that Atma and Paramatma are imperishable in this perishable body. Paramatma is equally present in every soul. All actions are performed by Prakruti and not the Atma. All the diverse living beings are a part of one Prakriti and are born by that one Prakriti, which is created by that one Paramatma. Such Paramatma, who does not have any beginning, who does not have any material qualities, this imperishable Paramatma, although he dwells in the body, he neither acts nor he is tainted. Just like space holds everything but does not get contaminated, same way the soul, the Atma, although pervading in the entire body, does not get contaminated. Just as the sun illumines the whole universe, same way the Atma illumines the entire body. In this way, the one who perceives with eyes of knowledge this subtle difference between Kshetra, which is Vikari, Jada, momentary and destructible, and who understands Kshetrajna as Nitya, Chetana, Avikari and Avinashi. And also those who understand that all actions are performed by Prakriti will attain that supreme Parabrahman, Paramatma. Hari Om. That's it.
Antarika Nirvikalpa Samadhi, without any thoughts, completely drop your mind and the senses. Be completely absorbed in the awareness, the Chaitanya Shakti. Become aware of your body and mind. Become aware of your breath. Become aware of the surroundings, the place where you are seated. Sorry. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Please rub your palm. Place them on your eyes. Feel the warmth and gently open your eyes. Together, we offer today's Gita Jnana Yajna at the lotus feet of the Lord and seek His grace, mercy, and blessings. Our humble salutations to the entire Guru Parampara. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Idam Namama. Om Tat Sat.